All right, so Reaver Titan build log. This will be part 3. I'll get into in a minute. Something I wanted to mention was how important it is to think about the next stages and really properly think about how you're going to do each section. So not just the big picture, but the little picture. How's that next piston going to go together? How far do I need to cut it? Cut it perfectly. Cut each piston perfectly. Don't think about the next stage when you're cutting one piston to size. Don't think about the next piston. Think about that piston. Make that piston work. Don't think about, oh shit, I've got to do the hips. Don't think about that. Think about getting that one correct. Get that one correct. Get that toe right. Make that toe work. Then think about the next toe. How's that one going to work? Get that right. And then once you've done as much as you can do in that night, and that's usually determined by the setting time of the glue and the structural limitations that you've got when you're making the ankle or the knee or the hip. Once you put that JB weld on or whatever epoxy you're using to secure your model, while that's setting, think about your plan for the next night or the next day or whenever you're doing it. Think about, okay, so I need to get 8 pistons cut to size. I need to get a pin made. I need to do, this is the goal. This is the 5 steps I need to do tomorrow. Think about that while it's setting. When you're actually doing the making, when you've got the stuff in your hands, don't think about that next step. Think about what you are doing. Don't think about the next step. Think about, like I said before, doing what you are doing perfectly. Do it as well as you can. Do it with precision and do it with care and be in the moment, man. Man. Yeah. So it's been a big fucking night for me on this. You'll hear about it in a second. I've already filmed it, so it's all, I don't know, breaking the fourth wall. Whatever. All right. All right, next part of the Reaver Titan build log. So I've gotten this to a point where I've now fitted, it's me, it's just me, no one's helped at all. Legs are together. The only thing that needs to be pinned and glued here now are these hips. So this is just blue tacked in place while I test out the suitability of the pose of those hips. It's all about how you angle them. So that'll come down to how well it holds the torso. So I've tested this, and if I gently let go of it, it holds the torso. The balance is right. Yeah, so we are pinned through from the foot pad into through this ankle, I guess you'd call it an ankle on a human, through the ankle into the shin. I've gone 1.5 inches into the shin, so that's plenty. Again, gone through this knee, about 1 inch into the knee and about another inch into the top of the shin. Same on this side as well. The next 2 pins will be through from the left hip socket to the right hip socket at the top and at the bottom, and that'll go through the meat of the pelvis as well. Once I have double checked with all my hip pistons that will work. There's you got a load of range on these pistons, so you can cut these to size, but you've got quite a lot there. You got a lot that you can play with. Obviously, all the armor panels are left off at this stage for painting. Yeah. So the crucial things to note to get to this stage are the pins. Absolutely essential that this is pinned. 3mm brass rod in the ankle, the knee, and the hips. things to look out for on this section of the build. To get to this stage, I have spent probably, I think it's about a week now, 5 or 6 days anyway, blue tacking, making sure that these are going to work. The difficult thing is these toe pistons. So I'm going to pick up the camera here. So let's have a look here. These toe pistons, you've got 3 contact points on each thing. So you've got 1 contact point, 2, and then the one that's in here. So what you've got to do is you've got to get these measured for each piston needs to be measured, because they slot in at the top, at the underside of this panel. There's 2 slots. You got a little bit of play there, but you got to get these pistons measured correctly, cut them to size, dry fit them. Then to glue them actually in place and be strong and have the pistons so they don't fall over, you need to little dob of glue in here, little dob of glue in there, and the glue in the toe, in the actual inside of the toe. You then have to put a little bit of glue at the end of each one of these and fit it. And while you have to do it quite quickly, you've got about 5 or 10 seconds where this is still malleable enough to be able to adjust it. So you push these into the bottom of this armor panel. These are the 2 slots at the bottom of the armor panel. When you're building one, you'll know what I'm talking about. Push those in first and then slide this one in second. I tried for the life of me to video that process, and it's impossible unless you've got like a really good camera rig or someone helping you. I found I just couldn't video it and do this at the same time. I actually I have a freezer. I've got a fridge full of beer, obviously, and a freezer, luckily, right next to my workstation. So I was able to, on 2 occasions, I had to actually get this toe panel off, get the toe off, and put this toe in the freezer, and then wait and a couple of hours, and then snap the piston off and start again. It's not fun. So just be warned, those toes take some planning, and really there's no easy way to show how I've done it, but yeah, hopefully that description helps you. Just dry fit, make sure the pistons are the right size, and you should be fine. And just know that you don't need to use a ton of super glue for it to work. And if you do fuck it up, like I did on a couple of occasions, you can chuck it in the freezer and come back to it in a couple of hours, snap it off and start again. Just be really careful, obviously, when you snap it off. So I used these tiny little pliers, and what you do is you want to put, because they've got grip on them, the pliers have got grip on them, put tape on the grip. I've taken it off since. Just put some electrical tape or masking tape on there so it doesn't fuck the resin up, because the resin's very delicate, and it is still reasonably difficult to get off, I found. But there we go. So toes, not fun, but it's there. So I'm really happy with this pose. The dynamic pose is working well. I'm going to have all the stuff getting crushed under here. You can just see this dowel, which is there, which is what the foot is sitting on, that gives it its strength. So you won't see that dowel in the finished piece. This will be climbing over a rubber. He'll be on a base that will be removable from the diorama, but he'll be climbing over rubble. So he'll be crushing. I haven't decided what he's crushing exactly yet, but he'll be crushing something underfoot, and it's going. That's why I've posed the toe like this, so it looks like he's squashing it hard and using it to spring off from. I really like that interaction between the model and the base. The point where the model comes into contact with the world that you're creating, I find is really important, and that really sells it as a thing that inhabits this place. And that's what I like doing, so that's what I'm doing. And it hasn't made it easy, but you know, that's cool. So yeah, lots of pinning, be really careful, lots of dry fitting here, lots of blue tacking, and that's the key. Yeah, like I said, I wish I could have filmed the toes going together for you, but it just I couldn't do it without another set of hands or a better camera rig, which I am unavailable to do. Maybe the Warlord Titan, hey? Maybe we'll do that next year. We'll see. Maybe I'll have a better camera rig for that. These are the pistons that are going in here next. So this is my next thing, is to cut these pistons to size, make sure this pose works, and then I'm going to be pinning. I guess the next video will be me showing you how I pin this, which is crucial. This is the most essential pins in the whole build, are these ones that go through here. These need to be absolutely super strong. This is where all the weight is going to go. And then once that's done, that'll be a big load off. I can just crack on with the torso. Basically, at that stage, I will fit the arms, fit the guns and the weapons to the torso, and yeah, start priming and start painting. And I'll show you how I paint everything. The coloured panels won't be anything too amazing that you haven't seen before, but I've got a few techniques that I use for my medals on this that I used on the Warhound, that are basically a pigment wash, which looks really cool. I think it looks really cool anyway, and I'll show you how to do all of that, but let's not get too carried away. Legs are on, very happy, having a beer. It's been a big night.